It was mostly black people that was there. But he had the power to liberate them, take them out of the system, and move them to Guyana, into the wilderness to build their own community. He had the power to do that. But in a minute, he used that power against their ass, didn't he? Because he organized them and held them down and made them drink that Kool-Aid. So the power that he used to free them eventually became a power that was used against them. And the white boy always had that double-edged face. If he is your savior, he can easily at any moment become your destroyer. But when you become your own savior, it really don't matter what he do or don't do. Because if he move in front of you, you simply just move around him. You can't move under him, around him, or over him, then you begin to move right on through his ass.
Yes, sir.
You get the point that I'm making?
Yeah.
It's a reality. So that's freedom. In that analogy, we can see what freedom actually literally is. Some people are at that point of that slave running into the field, and they stuck there. I didn't got out. I'm free. And they're laying in the field, smoking the weeds that's laying around in the field, fermenting the leaves in the field. But they have not freed themselves to build their own community and their own society and protect their freedom. Because it's a responsibility. You can't be free without protecting it. Because if you cannot protect it and secure it, then your freedom is now dependent on your enemies just simply coming up and saying, well, it's over with now. Mm-hmm. So you can't just go lay out in the field and smoke the weeds in the field and drink the alcohol in the field. You can't do that. If you don't build a fortress and fortify and secure your freedom, it's going to be short-lived. It's going to be short-lived. So once you discover freedom, see, you can go and run out into the field and be free for only a period of time. That's going to be short-lived freedom. So you was free. You had a moment of freedom. But if you didn't fortify it, then you cannot secure freedom. So freedom is it's not even something that you just gain. It's something that once you get to the point of, you must then secure it. You must secure it. The freedom must be secured. And the scientist in the case study just simply asks them one thing. Look at this. What do you see? And this person who is not even knowledgeable of this situation, who haven't went to school for it, because like I said, he went to lab school. Lab school is where they pull them out before they even get to grammar school, elementary school. They pull them out quicker. They try to snatch the ingenuity out to make it work for their system before developing his own way and go against the system. They snatch him out of these schools, and then they put them in these little lab experiments so they can develop their science and industry. And they'll tell them, just look at that and tell me what you see, what you come up with. Because their mind, they know their mind is limited. They have kept looking at this in the same way every time. So they know they're not going to crack the code. They're not going to crack the equation. Because their minds has become old. So they need to bring a new genius who knows nothing about it and say, look at this, what can you come up with? Because they trust natural genius. We trust program intelligence. But they really believe in natural ingenuity, which is why they pulled them out at that young age and brought them into those different scientific experiments. I'll give you another example. They had found a little, I believe she was a Japanese girl, and they used her to crack through the computers of the federal government. And they had, because they wanted to create a top-of-the-line security system. And they had got a white boy to do it, but he could not figure it out. So he felt that the program was secure. So they brought this little girl in. She had to be about 15 years old. And they set her there and told her, well, play with this, because they saw that she was able to break into banks and stuff like this on her own. So they wanted to see if she could crack the code of the federal government. And she did. she broke through it. So the point that I'm making is, we got to realize ourselves on an infinite potential level. Each and every individual must do this. Must not try to find limited roles to put themselves in, to say this is what I am, and develop. Because if they realize their own potential for development, then they'll be less codependent on the need of a group. If we knew who we are, we wouldn't be waiting on Barack Obama and Jesse Jackson and Farrakhan and the rest of them. Because we don't know the potential we have to develop ourselves as individuals. We depend on these particular individuals. And that was my thing of earlier, of saying we must perfect ourselves beyond our ego. And our ego is our addiction to become addicted to a classification of self, a classified role, to feel consistent about who we are. And by sticking to that classified role, then we limit our potential for growth. And we can't expand in ways that we need to get what we are trying to do done. Because we can't do it. That's not really our role. That's not who we are. That's what we can't do. So we're saying we can't. What do you feel about making? In a strange way. In an indirect way, we're saying we can't. By saying, this is who I am, I'm saying I'm not this. And I'm not that, and I'm not that. Just by saying who you are, you're saying who you are not. But we're saying throw away who you think you are and allow yourself to manifest into all that you can be. It's a whole different mindset. And then you will be flexible enough. This is the yoga of revolution. Then you become flexible enough to get into any situation and circumstance and begin to master that condition and that environment immediately. Because you are not attached to any type of self concept that could limit you from perfecting yourself in any environment. Y'all see what I'm making? It's only our minds and selves that limit us to grow and develop in any environment. Because it's in us. If man could master any environment and has ever mastered any environment, situation, circumstance, if man has ever done that, then so can we today. But we believe we can only live in these limited circumstances and conditions that have been imposed on us by our oppressors, by our imperialists, by the capitalists. Do you see the one? We believe that we can only survive in these situations, and we constantly remain in them. But once we say, well, wait a minute, there's something more than this, at that moment we begin to become free, and we begin to become creative in our thinking. And out of our creative thinking, we begin to create something new and develop something that is so powerful that even those who were against us, they could not even figure out how we did it. Y'all hear the point I'm making? But you cannot get this from old books. They understand in these old books and old strategies, they understand it already. They understand how all that stuff works. The CIA and FBI got files this thick on all of that stuff. So liberation has to be something completely new. Something innovative. And something ingenious. So true revolution, true liberation is a challenge on the individuals to become geniuses, to become masters, and to become proficient. Extremely. And you will never find an individual like that in a situation where they say, I can't do this, or we need all these people to do that. We need 50 people. Where are the people that's going to help you? You'll never find them. They will always, even if they have to develop a technology to make it easier, a revolutionary technology, then these individuals, where there are no people who are conscious and sincere to be a part of the revolutionary, they begin to develop revolutionary technology to make it compensate for the lack of people. That's genius. And that's the requirement of the new revolution. So when I say that, to say that we're not dependent on how many people come and how many people lined up. We know that Marcus Garvey was one man that realized himself. Harriet Tubman was one woman. We're not dependent on, we don't need millions and thousands of people as though our leaders have told us in the past. We didn't need a 1,000,000-man march. 2 geniuses would be greater than a 1,000,000 men marching. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because 1,000,000 men marched into the concentration camps. That was a 1,000,000-man march. When the Jews marched into the concentration camp. 1,000,000 men are marching every day to the consumeristic paradigm. Millions of people are marching downtown tomorrow. 1,000,000 men are marching to work tomorrow morning. It's a 1,000,000-man march every day. We don't need men marching. We need innovative individuals that can manifest revolution in consciousness. But our leaders tell us we need thousands of people. And they tell us that we need to unify all of these people. They tell us this. We must unify millions of people, and we're waiting on the masses of people to wake up. We're not depending on masses of people to wake up. We're depending on the individuals that are conscious to fully manifest themselves. And once they do that, then they will begin to go and buy the new innovations in social engineering, in social science, and in manifesting their ability and skills. They will begin to change the masses of the people. Just a few on that level. On that level. So my whole point in saying that is that once we as individuals begin to say that, wait a minute, we don't want, just because people say they got this skill or that skill, we don't want them per se to work with us. We are not trying to exploit people's skills and abilities. It's not an exploitation movement. Either you're conscious or you're not. If you're not conscious, we'll figure out what to do. We'll figure out how to do it. Do you see the point I'm making? Because when you begin to let those people and think you can use those people to help, they begin to corrupt it with their capitalistic ideas. Right. They begin to bring their desires, not for development, but their desires for money, corrupt. What started off divine, what started off humanitarian, what started off right, they now bring all the other attachments to it. And then it becomes corrupt. It is no longer pure. And that's when I said the nation building is not an organization. It is a way. And each and every individual must fully choose to embody the totality of the way. Each and every individual must do that. You cannot be a half-assed person and then organize if you have not perfected your own process. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because an organization is a democratic institution where they must organize people where they're at to work together. The way is not that personal. It is not respective of person. Y'all hear the point I'm making? It's not personal. It's not going to respect where people are at. It's going to say that if you want the gifts and the benefit of the way, then you got to fully walk it. There's no other way. You can't organize around that. You can't organize into being a vegetarian. You simply have to stop eating meat. Y'all hear that point I'm making? It's certain things that cannot be organized. And people's desire to organize them, they are deluded. And liars. They are foolish to try to organize certain things. It's stuff you simply just must do. And it ain't organization. It's either you're going to do or you're not going to do. That's like somebody organizing, cleaning up their house. And they come up with a strategical plan to clean their house up. They write it out.